Hello students, Mr. Greg here. I hope you're doing well. I apologize for the delay in the video. It's taken me a little bit of time to find the video recording program that I like, but I think I have one now. And so we're going to give it a try here. Today I got something a little bit different for us in Solidworks. I'm going to get away from the 3D printed cars and let's work on another project. I'm building a model train layout and I want to have an elevated track section. So I'm going to need a few bridge supports. Now I could buy these, but why buy them when I can design them and print them in Solidworks and on my 3D printer. So this is kind of the mindset that I've developed and one that I want you to develop, because many fixes around the house can be done by designing your own products and 3D printing them. Now I know most of you don't have a 3D printer, but you may have a friend that has one, or there's some services out there that you can send your design to and they'll 3D print them for you. And so I want you to start looking for fixes around the house that maybe you can 3D design and then 3D print for your parents. So here is a model of the bridge support that I want us to design in Solidworks. You can see that it is not too complicated, but it will give me an opportunity to show you a few different features in Solidworks, such as offset entities, mirror entities, and how to apply text. And so let's get started. This is 140 millimeters high. It is 80 millimeters across here and 20 millimeters thick. And so let's get it drawn today. So I want you to open up a clean sketch in Solidworks like this. We're going to design this on the front plane. Now anytime you design a part like what I was showing you that has really a free form design, it's best to design half of it and then mirror it across a line using the mirror entities function. And so the first thing you'll need to do when you know you've got to mirror a part is create a construction line. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to click on my center line, and you'll notice the dots are not completely connected. The line is not connected, it's segmented. And I'm just going to start somewhere up here and making sure I keep this vertical. I'm going to draw a line. Now you'll notice this line is still blue. And so I like to go ahead and get these fully defined, and even though it shows fully defined here, it's not showing blue here. And the way to get that to a black line is to try to find the center point, click on it with your left button of your mouse, and then find your origin, hold the shift key down and click on it, and now we're creating a relation. And we've talked about this before, and I want to make this coincide. And so I've done that, hit the check mark, now it's completely black. The computer likes it, Solidworks likes it, and we are fully defined, as you can see down here. This is something I want you to get in the habit of. I noticed on some of your car designs that some of the dimensions were not fully defined, and that's a bad habit to get into, especially as you get more and more complicated designs. So the next thing I'm going to do is click on the line up here, and I'm just going to start at this origin, and I'm going to draw the top of my bridge support, and then I'm going to draw the leg down like this. Zoom in a little bit. Then I want to draw the pedestal, and this doesn't have to be perfect. We'll go back and dimension it later. Then I'm going to draw about to here, because that arch, I want want to put that arch in. So about there. And now to draw that arch, the easiest way to do that is to keep it on your line here, and then to go ahead and left click, draw your line out, and then come back, touch this point, and now it's allowing me to draw an arch. And I'm just going to click that there. Now I know this doesn't look very good, but when we put some dimensions in it and do some relations, it should look fine. So the first thing I want to do is do some relations, because if I start dimensioning this now, it'll fall apart on me. And so I'm going to come down here, I'm going to click this line, and then I'm going to hold the shift key down, click this line, make sure I have line here, and I'm going to make them equal. Created equal length. I like it. And now I'm going to click this line, hold the shift key down. I'm careful not to, oops, wrong way. Careful not to hit the center point. Shift key down. Both lines there, and I want to make them equal. So that looks pretty good. Now the next thing I want to do is start dimensioning this. I guess I'll start with the top dimension here, and I want to make this 40 because my total width is 80 and I'm going to mirror it, so that's 40. And then I want to make this 20 millimeters wide, so I'm going to click on this dot and this dot, and I'm going to make that 20. That looks pretty good. And then I want to make this dimension 20 millimeters high. So that looks pretty good. Now if this is 20 high and the whole thing is 140, then obviously this dimension needs to be 120. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to move this a little bit to kind of, so you can actually move this how you like it. I'm going to move this up a little bit, and you can do yours. There's no perfect way of doing that. So before you dimension it, anytime the lines are blue, you can move them around. I want this arch to be 35 degrees, and I want this angle to be 100 degrees. I think I'm going to dimension this angle. So I don't know if we've talked about this, but the way you dimension an angle is you'll click on the lines that surround the angle, and then it automatically recognizes that you want to dimension this angle, and I want this to be 100 degrees. So there's that. That looks pretty good. And then I want to dimension this. I want it to be, what do I want it to be? 35 degrees. Now I may have to make some adjustments after I do this. Let's see. I do. That's a little thinner than I want there, and so the way I fix that is I take this and drag it down like this. Kind of like that. And then I want to dimension this. I want it to be roughly, so this is going to work 90.775. I may have to modify this a little bit. Yep. Alright. This line is not where I want it to be. This dot is not where I want it to be. Okay. So I'm going to delete my angle. I'm going to go ahead and delete this line. This is all part of drawing. And then I'm going to come back And I'm going to redraw this line now that I've got some dimensions here. Oh, I see what I've done wrong. I see what I've done wrong. So, alright, come back, touch this point, create an arc, like that. I'm going to go back and delete this one. Good thing about the video is you can pause it for me and catch up. Alright, I'm going to make this 25 degrees. Alright, I like it. Alright, so we need to dimension this. This is obviously terribly wrong. It doesn't need to be that big. It needs to be about 35. Alright, how does that look? Pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, and then I want this dimension. Oh, this is going to mess me up again. To be 20. There we go. Alright, I'm fully defined. I'm not done, however. I want to add some fillets here to make this look a little bit better. So I'm going to come up here, click this. I'm going to change this to 5. I'm going to click here and here. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I did. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to click OK on that. Now I've got, this looks really good. So the next thing I want to do is mirror this to the other side. Alright, and the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to click Mirror Entities here, and it's showing you entities to mirror. And sorry, looking at something. So the best way, I could click on all these lines if I wanted to and mirror them, but the easiest thing to do would be to highlight all of them. So I'm going to come over here and highlight them. Notice they all turn blue, so I didn't miss any of them. They're listed here. Then it's asking me, what do you want to mirror about? So I click here, make this blue, and then I go to our line, click on it. You see it gives me a yellow preview. I hope you can see that. I like it. I'm going to click, and now I have my arch, my bridge support as we're calling it. That looks really good. Alright, so the next step is to extrude this. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to extrude it. And I want to extrude it for 20 millimeters. So I've done that. That looks good. Click OK. Now we have the beginning of our arch support. Now I've noticed in some pictures on these arch supports that they have like an I-beam type look. In other words, the steel that they use is made out of I-beams, and I-beams are basically if you were to look at the end of them, it looks like the letter I. And so I want to duplicate that effect, and I could redraw what we did all the way through here and do that, but there's an easier way that I want to teach you today, and that's called offset entities. So I'm going to click on the surface. I'm going to click on a sketch, create a sketch, and I'm going to click on offset entities up here. I hope you can see that. Now it's offsetting to the outside, and I want to do a reverse of that, and mine has been acting up, but let's see if it's going to work for me today. It is. Amazing. So now you see I've offset this 3 millimeters to the inside. It's created that drawing based on the lines on the outside, and this is exactly 3 millimeters. And so I like it, and I'm going to hit check, and there it is. Now what I want to do is extrude cut this out, and I want to do that 2 millimeters. So I'm going to come up to features, extrude cut, not 20, but 2 millimeters. And I'm going to click that, and there it is done. Yes. So I'm going to flip it on the other side, create a sketch, and do the same thing on that. And I may go a little fast for you, but you can pause the video and do it at your own time. Click there, extrude cut, 2 millimeters. I like it. Now it's done on both sides. Looks pretty good. Now I want to give this a little bit of a few features, and so I've noticed there's joints between these in pictures, and so I want to go ahead and draw that. So I'm going to create another sketch on this face. I'm going to go up to my line, and I'm going to try to find roughly the midpoint of this thing. There it is. And I'm just going to, it doesn't really matter, I'm going to draw a line. I want to make sure I keep it horizontal, however. So that looks straight there. You can see that, and I'm going to close this in like this. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And you notice SolidWorks anticipates that I want to draw one just like it on the other side, so it's showing me where to draw my line at. Like that. And then I'm going to close this in like this and this. Alright, I like it. So what we need, we're obviously underdefined. We have blue here. So I need to dimension this. And I can tell you that I want this to be 3 millimeters wide. Look, it adjusted 3 millimeters on this side. And then I want it to be, let's see, I want it to be I want it to be 60 millimeters from that top point. And there that is. That looks good. So now I want to come up here and I want to extrude this. I want to extrude it 2 millimeters like I did the other. And look at there. How cool is that? Now I want you to do the other side the same way. I'm not going to do it just to save time on the video. But the last thing I do want to show you is how to actually add text to your design. Now my railroad is based on the now defunct railroad called Southern Railroad. But at one time they were all over the South, and I want to create the letter Southern on this, and so I'm going to open up a sketch on this top part here, and then I'm going to come up here and you can see right here there's actually an option for text. I'm going to click on that, and it opens up the options for text. First thing it's going to ask is, all right, where do you want to put your text? Well, I want it to go right on top of this arch, and so I'm going to click this line and this line, and that tells it where to put the text. And then I'm going to type in what I want it to say, Southern. You could put your name in there and create your own railroad company, and you can see it puts it in here, but it's put it in totally the wrong spot, right? So what I want to do is flip it over on that side, and now it's written backwards, so I want to flip it the right way by clicking these buttons here, and you can play around with this. And then I want it to be centered, so I'm going to click here, and now it's centered, but it's way too small. And so I'm going to come up here, uncheck use document font, and that's going to give me some options. Click on font, and I want this to be Cooper font. You can use any font you would like, and I want it to be about 5 millimeters. You know what? Now I want it to be 7 millimeters high. I want it big. Hit OK. See how that looks. That looks pretty good. Now I could adjust how wide the letters are here, moving that, and I can adjust how far apart they are by moving this. Again, this is just your choice. There's no right or wrong answer. I've done that. I like that. I'm going to hit check, and there it is. So the next thing to do would be to come out here, extrude this. I'm going to extrude it 2 millimeters, so it fits on top of there, and there we have it. Pretty neat. And so I want your homework is to draw your own bridge support, make it a lot better than mine, and I know you can do that. Maybe some different features on it, maybe do some research, look at railroad bridge supports, and draw one and turn it in, and that'll be due next Tuesday. So if you have any questions, give me a call or shoot me a text. I thank you for your time.